Welcome to What's Next with yours truly, Trina Finch, the show where we explore stories where people have faced life's unexpected twists and turns and discovered what's possible on the other side. Today's guest is Kyle Corrigan.
Hi, Trina. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Kyle is an Army vet and agency owner, and today's episode will explore themes of discipline, leadership, and service. So,
Awesome.
Kyle, tell me, how did you get to the Army? What led you to that decision?
What led me to the Army was nothing. meaning, I really wasn't. I wasn't accomplishing anything at home, and I had some jobs and trades, and was working in restaurants, and just nothing materialized. Nothing was really calling me.
Okay.
But jumping out of planes and shooting bad guys.
That sounded pretty cool,
That sounded pretty good. Yeah.
So you started off in the Army.
So I am Army Ranger qualified.
Okay.
But with that said, my early onset of military training was very much mission oriented and physical training and a lot of kind of muscle memory training, if that makes sense, through certain missions. You got to make sure this is done. Kind of like a flow chart, which is how I really operate today.
Okay. Okay. And so what led you from, I know it wasn't, you're in the Army, so it's not your choice. Right. How did you get from Army Ranger qualified jumping out of planes to recruitment?
Yeah, so the Army told me that I was going to...
As they do.
Yeah, they did. Whoever they are. But anyway, the Army told me that I was going to be a recruiter. I had no option. I had no choice. At the time, I was career-oriented. And so this was just, one of the, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down kind of thing. And, and so recruiting was the medicine.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wasn't issued a spoonful of sugar.
Would that have helped?
I don't know about that.
One thing that you wrote that people don't realize you've overcome is this idea of rejection. Talk to me about that.
So rejection is it doesn't even penetrate the skin any longer. It doesn't hurt. Because
did it at one time?
Of course, yeah.
Let's talk about that. How did you get from there to this impenetrable skin?
Well, understanding the process is what's really most important. And so a no is just as good as a yes. And in order to get to a yes, you're going to have to endure a whole lot more of no's before, not these, but those, until you finally get to what is consultative, what makes sense for people. Because nobody has ever said, hey, I need to call Kyle today to get some insurance quotes. That's not really how it operates. You have to develop a relationship and getting to the no's, because initially everybody should be a no. Well, I mean, if I don't know how you can benefit from what I offer, why would you tell me yes?
So this idea of not being affected by the no's started as a recruiter, right? And you learned how to kind of navigate that when you were recruiter Kyle.
100%.
And then that translated over into agency owner, salesperson Kyle.
Correct. So the place that I recruited was the Florida Keys.
I'm sorry, you're my second guest who's had a trip to Florida in their career, and I'm just saying, okay.
But so anyway, if you think about the folks that would be, these people that are growing up in the Keys are not Margaritaville minded. This has been their norm, and just like me, maybe they were working, dead-end jobs and didn't have opportunity. So initially, everybody told me no. But the more I got entrenched and the more I became visible, I started really breaking through and getting more yeses than I did no. So it's part of the process is really what's most important to me, that as a message.
So that advice for others who are maybe intimidated by the no? What is that?
You have to build a resiliency. You have to build, and you have to firmly believe that the no is a place, it's another step on your journey to a yes.
Okay.
Because the yeses become greater when when somebody told you yes, somebody tells them that they said yes to you, and then the yeses become a lot easier.
Does it snowball a little bit?
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually?
Yeah, eventually, but it's a long road.
It's a long road.
So just to give you an idea, when I first started in recruiting, the year before I had arrived, there were 8 people that joined the Army for the entire year.
Oh. From your
From the
station.
area that I was responsible for.
Okay.
In my first 3 months, I put in 8.
Oh.
Yeah. And so that's when I was put in charge, and the guy that was in charge got sent to Alaska, from Key West to Alaska.
Worse than Florida.
And then the last year that I was there were 36 people that joined military service.
Okay.
I put 35 of them in the Army.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you definitely figured out how to make the no's work for you, it sounds like.
And again, it was, connecting the dots of the yeses and who those people know and associate that. Yeah. Yeah, that was part of
So
the
how
process.
did you make the transition then from military service into private entrepreneurship, if you will?
So a lot of the skills that that I obtained, that were drilled into my head, how do you put your parachute on to and check for safety? Everything that was ingrained in me as part of the training made me obsessed with process.
Okay.
And so it doesn't necessarily have to be jumping out of planes. It doesn't have to be trying to figure out how to make a howitzer hit a target by bracketing it, the fire's in. I know I'm getting too deep. It's too much TMI. But there's a process. And so there are people that are a lot smarter than me that figured out the process a long time ago. I just have to start thinking about this with the process and not, because again, even for myself, I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense. But it does make sense. So I know that I have to make 30 phone calls a day to get in front of the appropriate number of loan officers to increase my business so I can grow.
So what we haven't mentioned is that Kyle does own a Goosehead agency, and y'all cover P&C. Explain what you do.
So Goosehead is a publicly traded company. It trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol GSHD.
Okay.
And it's the fastest growing insurance company in the country.
Okay.
But so the property and casualty lines of insurance that I handle are predominantly personal lines. So that would be home, auto, motorcycle, RV, personal watercraft, etc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And being a broker, I have, a plethora. Like I want to say I'm up to like 67 carriers for homeowners insurance.
Okay.
So it's always been my statement, other than here in Cornelius. The other statement is, if I can, I will. And I'm not going to show somebody who comes in 5th when I can show them who comes in 1st.
Exactly.
Or 67th for that matter.
So you just said here in Cornelius. A lot of people do know you from Lake Norman Small Business Network and your service there. Talk to me about, well, personally, I also know that you serve the Knights of Columbus. You're very involved in the community. So talk to me about this idea of service continuing after the military and why it's important for you to serve your community.
Well, that's actually really personal, right? And it really hits home because you stand no taller than when you reach down to give someone a hand. And whether that person is in need or I'm drawn to service and helping others because God forbid the day comes and I need some help. I believe in that coming back around. So
Okay.
that's a great question. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And I do know personally that you do, you serve well, you serve your community well, and you are, whether you realize it or not, a mentor to others. And speaking of mentorship, let's bring up fatherhood. I know that your son Nick just graduated high school, and you're beaming. Can y'all see the beam on his face? You are proud of Nick. And when I asked, your biggest projects or things coming up, you talked about Nick. So
Well, yeah. I mean, he's my lifetime, my greatest accomplishment. He's a very well-adjusted young man. Yeah, but he's 18 years old, and I also understand like the tremendous amount of stress that's on him right now, because one thing that's always driven him is he never wants to let anybody down. And man, I'm trying to break him of that. I want it to be exclusively for him and my and his mom. I don't want him to want to let them down, but other people, there's just I need him to learn
that.
Yeah, and that can't be taught. That's an OJT thing, an on-the-job training thing, right? Yeah.
He'll figure it out. He
will figure it
definitely will. This has been really great today, Kyle.
Yeah.
What would be one takeaway, one thing, if people remember nothing else from our talk today? What would be one thing that you would want them to remember?
Well, so leadership is an evolution. And so you talked about mentorship before. You talked about my son. We talked about when I first started in the Army versus where I wound up. Very different places. And to be an effective leader, you need to know or understand or read a room and figure out what's important when, because take that hill does not mean, hey, we got to go take that hill. And everybody responds differently. So the mission changes, people change, and you have to understand people to motivate them to understand the bigger picture. Some people you just need to tell. So yeah, it's an evolution. I think, and hopefully in my lifetime, I've succeeded in evolving, especially in the leadership space.
And I believe that you will continue to evolve and you will continue to serve. And I appreciate you being here today.
Amen.
For
Thanks
sure.
so much for having me. Yeah.
So please follow Kyle, Goosehead Insurance, the Corgan Agency. His information will be up. Please connect with him, follow him. If you need some car insurance or home insurance, the man can find you a deal. And then if you do find yourself in the next chapter and you are planning for retirement, or you're protecting your family, or just preparing for the future, you can connect with me at Trina Sells Insurance. My information will follow as well. But
I would encourage anybody to come on and do this podcast. It was terribly easy. Trina's a very, very, very good host.
Why, thank you. I appreciate
on.
that. You're my second episode, so we talk about growing and learning. That's what we're doing here. But thank you for watching today. And remember, no matter what life throws at you, you're always in control of what's next. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
Thank you.